Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're having a great day so far. So Neff has been joining Twitter Spaces recently, and he has been answering questions from content creators. And someone actually recorded one of those, conversations, and it actually lasted like 4 hours, but I was able to trim it down to 2 hours, highlighting only the most important parts. And in this recording, he kind of answers some of our questions about the SUV, his whereabouts, the whereabouts of Andrew, where was he, the online threats, and much more. But I have to warn you not to expect too much because he's still a weasel, so he's not answering them in full length. So we will listen to the whole thing together and I will take notes so that I can discuss everything he said in the end. But I would also like for you guys to take notes as well, or just pause the video every time you have a question or an important thought that you would like to share and drop it in the comments below. I will try to answer it, or someone from my audience. We are a very interactive community. We always share our opinions in the comments. And yes, so in case I miss something, I would like for you guys to mention it in the comments below. And keep in mind that this is going to be a longer video. So, have a glass of water nearby. I have my Turkish coffee here and water. And yeah, buckle up and let's hear what Blake has to say.
Where is the SUV? Do you know where it is?
The SUV that Charlie was in?
That would be the one I'm referring to, yes.
I have no idea. I don't even know.
Why not?
They probably rented it.
But it was auctioned off, correct?
I've heard people talk about that. It's possible. I have no idea.
When you got out of the car, what was the string that you were holding?
Charlotte. Sorry. So I talked to the person who gave the pictures to Candace. His name is Mike. So the employee that was cleaning said it was auctioned. It came from California to Utah, back to California. Is that correct? Or
I have no idea. I didn't book the car.
She's not on the security team.
Oh, you don't? Okay. I'm just asking a question.
Diligent, just come in. I'm sorry, Allie.
Asking a question.
No, you're good.
He knows because it's a part of the crime scene. So
He just said he doesn't.
Okay. So I'm just asking, is that okay?
I mean, probably, because generally what you'll find with things that are involved in a crime scene, especially something large, is the police officers will photograph it, they will document it, and then once they've done that, you don't need to keep the entire SUV in cold storage for 3 years. That's what you do.
So what about what about Erica's necklace or Charlie's necklace? How did that?
No idea. I suspect they didn't feel any need to keep that necklace because the theory that it was used as an exploding microphone or whatever, or an exploding necklace, I will be frank, is really stupid.
No one believes that actually, literally, but it is one of the most significant gaps in the case, and I'm posing this to everybody, is the chemical composition of the necklace. Is it silver or is it stainless steel? And that does matter. Yeah, call me crazy.
Hey, Tara, can I jump in here?
Have you ever been advised by a physician to seek treatment for delusions or other?
Blake, I have a question. Do you know why or if the FBI ever examined Charlie Kirk's phone, or did it go straight to Erica?
I can't speak to that.
You can't speak to that? Why? I really seriously doubt that you don't know the answer to that question.
I don't own Charlie's phone. I did not assess it for the FBI.
But if it didn't, would you think that was a problem?
Let's not dogpile him.
What does actually know? What would them assessing?
The first thing they do in a homicide case is take the victim's phone and the suspect's phone. It's the very first thing they do to see if there had been prior threats or prior engagement between the two. Well, right. This is standard operating procedure. So why would Erica Kirk have his phone and not the FBI when there's a murder case involved?
Why would she
especially when there were
his phone? Especially
when there were credible threats against his life in the weeks leading up to his assassination.
Well, perhaps that they searched Tyler Robinson's phone and didn't find anything. I don't know. It's not my job.
Can I jump in here, Tara?
That doesn't make
Yeah, just jump in whenever. Just make sure like you guys don't cut each
Yeah,
other.
we don't need to dog pile him. It's okay. He's being respectful.
Can I apologize to Blake Neff?
Miss-
Sorry, I karate chopped you with my voice.
Yeah, just make sure everybody has their own
Miss-
space. You know what I mean?
Mr. Neff, thank you for coming on. I really appreciate you extending your time to us to speak to us. I wanted to ask you about the stuff that you do know about. Can I do that?
I guess I may or may not know it.
Sure. I just want to ask you about what happened on the day. So when you arrived at UVU, what happened?
I arrived at UVU shortly before the event. I came in that day with Charlie. He had an event that he was speaking at, some sort of like small business association, something like that. It was a small event. He went and spoke at that. I didn't actually go to that. I was like, we were doing the show, and I think I was like listening in on the show when we were putting up the episode, something like that, I think is what I was doing. Whatever it was, we had two SUVs, and I was in one of them, and I was just kind of chilling in that SUV while he gave the speech. And then we drove up to the event. Throughout this, I was only ever in the other SUV. So, there were two of them. I wasn't in the one Charlie was in. And then we got to the event probably, 10, 15 minutes before Charlie went out. And so I was in the space by the tent, kind of behind the cordon, so where we had all the Turning Point people. And Charlie started taking questions. I was kind of pacing around behind the tent for a little bit, just on the phone. I mean, I'd been to these events before, so I usually didn't pay ultra close attention to everything Charlie was saying.
What is your role at these events?
What do you mean?
Do you
usually
have
go to the
responsibilities there, or?
Let me think. So usually not during the event itself. So sometimes I was helping Charlie prep before. This is our first one of the season, and so we were like nervous about stuff that might pop up. So I had prepped with him the night before on potential tough topics. I prepped with him on the flight down. That was kind of the main reason I was there, I think, besides it just being the opening one, so more people would sometimes show up at that.
What was the topic that you prepped him with the night before?
I prepped him on a variety of things. We talked about faith topics. We actually did prep, like, if you got any weird questions on just like Christian doctrine, because it's a Mormon campus. We prepped about Israel stuff. We prepped about if he got asked why he wouldn't debate Nick Fuentes. Those are the main ones I remember.
Were you in the? I'm sorry, Jordan. Go ahead.
So Charlie comes out. Then what happens?
Charlie comes out. He starts answering questions. I remember maybe the first question, if not, it was a very early one, was asking him, like, it was like kind of an extended back and forth about Mormonism versus Protestantism. That went for a while. I want to say like 10 minutes or so. And then either the next question or the one after it was, of course, starts asking about the transgender shootings. At that point, I'd moved sort of towards the front and to the left of where Charlie was speaking. So that's why I'm like on some of the videos of what happened. I believe I was just like looking at my phone at that time. And then I heard a very loud crack, like a really loud
Before we get to that, can I ask you, the audio stuff that was going on, there was a lot of coordination going on in the minutes before the shot. Do you know anything about that?
Coordination of what sort?
Yeah,
Meaning a lot of people were talking to each other. There seemed to maybe be a technical issue. Do you know anything about that?
Charlie was saying, I can't hear.
Okay, thank you. And then the shot comes out. What are you thinking as you hear the shot go out?
The very loud crack, it was just very abrupt. And so, like I said, it sounded like a really loud, like firework is what I would say. And it was in front of me. So I snapped my head up and I looked straight in front of me. Like, I kind of thought it came from the crowd initially. So I was like looking in the crowd. I even remember like in the moment thinking like,
weren't you behind?
What's that?
Didn't you say you were behind the tent?
No, I was pacing behind the tent during the Mormonism question. And then I kind of moved out to the left of where Charlie was, left facing outward. So it'd be to his right if you were.
Yeah, I know where it was. Yep.
And that's where I was when the shot went off. I'd say probably like 20, 25 feet to Charlie's left. And I hear the crack. I look straight up and I don't like see anything. And so then I look to my right and I see Charlie. Well, you can probably imagine what I saw. And I pretty quickly realized he'd been shot. And then initially, like I said, I thought it came from the crowd. So what I initially thought the moment it happened was I thought that since the guy was asking about transgender shooters, I kind of, my initial thought was that the guy asking the question had done something like, how many transgender shooters have there been? And then he like pulls out a handgun and goes, one more, and like shoots Charlie, is what I kind of thought had happened. Because like I said, I wasn't paying ultra close attention, so I didn't hear like.
Did it sound? I've interviewed probably half a dozen students that were in the crowd in various locations that day. It's recorded. Like I recorded all of these interviews at UVU, and actually all of them described it as more of a firecracker or firework sound as opposed to a loud gunshot. Would you agree with that perception?
Well, I mean, I don't know. I'm not actually a regular rifle shooter, so I don't know what.
Weren't you in the service?
What's that?
Weren't you in the service? Or am I mistaken?
No, people just make stuff up because they push a bunch of drains.
That's why I asked. I wasn't sure.
Yeah, no.
Hey, Blake,
So-
I have a respectful, just super simple question. I feel like is pretty paramount as well. Who was driving? Do you know who was driving the Charlie's SUV?
I don't remember.
Coming into.
His name is Chris.
It was probably just either. Honestly,
How do
I
you
can't
not
remember.
know?
I feel like there was usually some security guy who drove it, but I don't know who it was that day.
Was it a security guy named Chris by chance?
I don't know.
Christopher?
I genuinely don't know.
Also,
So as the
your
shot goes
account
out.
your account of that hearing that noise was like very oddly specific.
If we can just break this up so like other people can ask questions a little bit too, right? Instead of like having a whole biography of what happened all at once. I was curious.
Right.
You said that you heard the gunshot. Did you make a phone call? Did you call 911?
I didn't call 911. I actually remember having that thought and then having the thought that that would be pretty pointless because there were a trillion people there, including actual police officers. In fact, when I fled out the back, I passed by a police officer who was like kind of guarding the back entrance. And I remember going by him and he was confused. He didn't know what had happened. And I remember saying to him something like, I think I said shooter to him. Or like,
Do you think the whole team had that same thought? Because did anybody call 911?
I have no idea. I don't think 911 response time was a particularly big concern in that event. I heard sirens basically immediately.
So somebody gets shot and nobody calls 911. Not one person in the team.
I have no idea. I'm saying I didn't call 911.
No, we know nobody.
I just want to hear what he has to say about it. I know what we know, but I want to hear his position. He's saying he doesn't know. Maybe he doesn't know.
I don't.
First responders
I find
were
that
there.
astonishing. I see people call 911 over very trivial things.
Okay.
So for someone to get shot publicly and for no one to call 911 seems insane.
The first person I spoke to within 5 seconds of this happening was a police officer who was at the scene. So I kind of would like to ask you, what value add you think would come from me at that point calling 911 when I have told a police officer at the scene what has just happened?
Okay.
Because you can call in an ambulance, you can report the incident that occurred. There's a lot of reasons why you alert dispatch as to.
I've got a question.
There's cops there, though. There's cops there, right?
Do you remember 9/11?
Yeah, but there wasn't an ambulance there.
I'm asking
But that's
you,
not
do you
Blake's fault.
remember 9/11? Like, did you see the plane fly into the building on 9/11?
No, Blake.
Well, a lot of people did. And do you think all of them were like derelict to their duty that they didn't call 911 after they saw the plane slam into the building on TV?
Well, are you talking about the people who were around or the ones who saw it on TV?
No, I mean the people who saw it on TV. I don't see why there'd be a difference here.
Did you watch this happen on TV or were you actually there?
I was actually
This is
there
a dumb question.
with many thousands of other people, including numerous police officers.
Sorry,
But there was no ambulance. Did you know that there was no ambulance there?
I have no idea whether there was an ambulance there or not.
You didn't see one. You didn't see one when you arrived. We saw the police vehicles. You saw the police officer. But did you see an ambulance?
No.
Right. It's
not really up to him.
Supposed to be.
Hey, Blake, did you know that he was dead immediately, like Terrell knew he was dead immediately? Like, did you share the same sentiment?
I did not know.
So as the shot
I could
goes
see that,
out,
I could see that Charlie.
Why was Terrell there?
I did not like. I would not have the ability to say whether he'd been like killed instantly or anything like that. suspected he was wounded very badly because he was hit in the neck. So I remember having the thought as I was kind of still in the area, like, what if he survives but is like paralyzed or something really bad like that?
So there was a whole bunch of team members that weren't.
You don't know where the SUV is, and you don't know who drove Charlie in. I'm kind of worried about that because
That's not his job. Can I ask a question?
Why
please?
would I have to know that?
I mean,
Am I honest?
Can you stop answering for him?
I'm going to speak.
You don't need to speak for him, though, right? Let him
I have a question I would like to ask. So everybody, please give me the space to ask.
Go ahead.
Blake.
Go ahead.
Okay, visual impulse. So, Terrell is usually not there. He's usually not there, right? And then there was, you got to know who's there. So that's super important. There were hired people. Andrew Karachi was there, hired. He's not usually typically there. So that's where I just wanted to know. There were some new people on the scene, and what about them?
Well, I mean, first of all, to say Terrell is usually not there, I actually don't know the frequency that he was at our events, but that was certainly not the first time he was at an event. Terrell has been with Turning Point and with Charlie for a very long time. I'd say
someone who worked in the camera crew told me that he doesn't usually go to those.
I mean, again, maybe he doesn't go to all. He probably doesn't go to all of them. But first of all, like, this was the first one of the year. This was going to be our largest tour. This was going to be one of our largest events.
Where was it being broadcast?
Yeah, that specific one. And he's also at all of our big events. Like, Terrell goes to a lot of things. Terrell travels quite often.
Were you
okay? Someone also wanted to ask about what you were talking about him with Charlie about Israel. What were you prepping about regarding Israel?
I mean, Israel is a big topic, if you haven't noticed. So we were prepping.
Yeah, specifically.
You got questions about it.
Were you a part of the group chat that?
Well, yeah, they were asking what specifically.
Were you a part of the group chat where he sent the message that he was leaving the pro-Israel cause 2 days before he was assassinated?
I was not part of that group chat.
Were you aware that Harrison Smith said that someone close to Charlie at TPUSA 3 weeks before that said that Charlie thought if he left the pro-Israel cause that they would kill him?
I certainly did not ever hear anything like that myself. In fact, the only people I heard Charlie would kill him explicitly.
Are you aware of it now? Were you aware of it before I asked you?
I've heard some allegation to that effect, but I have never.
I mean, it was posted publicly 3 weeks before Charlie died, so it doesn't even matter if someone that you know can verify that they said it was true.
How can you verify that?
He said it. He said it. It doesn't matter because of the temporal, the chronological proximity. 3 weeks before he died, we were told by a mutual that if he left the pro-Israel cause, he was going to get killed. 2 days before he left, or 2 days before he was assassinated, he said he was leaving the pro-Israel cause, and then 2 days later, he's dead. Well, right? You don't think that's significant, Blake?
2 days before he was dead, he also told me that the trannies were going to kill him. So, take your pick.
What?
Were you live streaming it that day?
Live streaming? I don't believe so. Maybe we were, but I don't think so.
Of course they were. They said it.
We see an HDMI cable going into the LU-300 Israeli unit, which I'm not being anti-Semitic here. I love Jews. I love Torah. I love Mormons too. But my point is yeah, I shouldn't have said the Israeli part, but you certainly had the capabilities to go live. You had 2 cellular bonding units on the AV table.
I wasn't debating whether we had the ability to go live. I just am not sure because I don't know that we.
So how do you not know that? Who was watching? I
genuinely don't remember because.
How can you not remember?
It was not watching.
It was the first. It was the first event of the season, man.
If we can't hear both of you talking at the same time, let me finish.
Upload videos of it. We would release the audio of it. Like, we would release it in a million different ways. I just don't recall if it was actually being live streamed because certainly not all of those were live streamed.
Well, the FBI didn't have it until May and June.
You don't seem to know a lot for you think it's Tyler Robinson. You don't seem to know all the facts. Like, there's a lot of things that you don't know.
What exactly are you upset about? Like, whether I don't know whether we were live streaming or not. That's a complete.
Hang on, all kinds of things. Yeah.
Time out. You guys, please don't talk over each other. Like, let's finish. Like, just finish your sentence, and I just don't want anyone to fight. I want to hear all of you, right? So let's just try to go there. Okay. Are you guys good?
That's good, Cajun Queen. Thank you.
Okay. Come on, Blake. What you got from Utah?
What do I got?
I'm here. I'm looking for Blakey.
Where is he?
Earlier, you guys were asking about the SD cards, and Blake may be able to give you some clarification on that. Blake,
I have a question about it.
I had heard months ago that when everything had kind of calmed down, they pulled everybody up into a room and police started questioning. People started handing over pictures, video, and SD cards and things like that.
Who said this? You or Blake?
I just said that earlier. But what I'm telling you, that was told to me by people.
How do you know that?
Because I've talked to multiple eyewitnesses that were there.
Well, Blake was there, right?
That's my point. I'm asking Blake.
I didn't have a recording to give them, so I was not involved.
I mean, it sounds like you're giving a version of the story, and then you're asking Blake. So, which is it?
I just sat there and said that I was told this. He can confirm or deny that. Like, why are you such a dick?
Blake, Neff, give him a respond.
I'm not being a dick. I'm not calling you names.
You are being a dick.
Shit.
And like,
now you're deflecting.
No, I'm not deflecting. You're just
Blake Neff. Hold on, time out. This is my space. Blake Neff, give him a minute. Like, let him respond, and then you can counteract that. Okay? I have 14 requests for speakers, and I know there's plenty of people that's pissed. Like, because I just can't have them up. I can't. I want to, but I can't. So let's just not be disrespectful to the other person, right? So please, I'm asking you to be nice.
So Blake, do you know much about the SD cards that were taken by Terrell Farnsworth?
Not really.
Not really?
I mean, like, what am I supposed to know? I'm not a technical.
That hasn't come up around the coffee pot, like at the office.
What?
Like, y'all haven't talked about it at the office?
You guys literally talked about it. You and
Daryl to offer like more.
And Tucker, remember Tucker?
Blake,
yeah, you talked about it.
I know who Tucker.
There's too many people talking at once. You had a conversation with Andrew Colbert and Tucker and you about the SD card, correct?
I don't remember.
You were sitting there. It's recorded.
Like, what was this, like our show?
You don't remember Tucker? You're sitting there with Tucker and Andrew Colbert and don't remember having this conversation?
I mean,
you
when
participated.
Did this conversation occur? I've had a lot of conversations. And
I've had a lot of conversations too, but I remember it.
You remember all of your conversations ever? Like,
I remember most of them.
Me to know things that you have fixated on.
Okay, so let me ask you this. Do you know that Terrell Farnsworth took SD cards from the cameras at the crime scene?
Yes, I know he took SD cards out of the cameras because people have flipped out about it for a year now.
Okay. And then do you know what happened? So he handed them off to Phillips, is it Goldsberry? Is that his name? Goldsberry? I got it right? He handed them off to Phillips Goldsberry behind the tent like a drug deal. Do you know why that went down like that?
I don't know, because he wanted Philip to keep it.
So he hands it off to him sideways, like very conspicuously. You don't think that's strange?
No.
Okay. And so
I'm actually going to push back on this. Like, you guys ask these bizarre questions, like, why don't I know who the driver of the car is? Why?
I asked you what you knew.
Give an SD card to a different employee of his company. Why?
I have a question that's not bizarre.
I built the foundation and I said, did you know that?
Because no, I don't think it's weird, because since I was there and since I, don't have a lithium deficit, I see that Charlie was.
Do I sound particularly insane to you?
And that the evidence lines up quite well, and the idea that Terrell Farnsworth, a person I have known for years, and his family, the idea that they were involved.
I'm not blaming him for anything. I'm trying to figure out why he did what he did.
Involved in some conspiracy to murder Charlie is completely.
I've never made that claim.
Furthermore, the idea that them taking the SD cards are a key part of any conspiracy is itself really preposterous and doesn't make sense, and nobody has ever been able to describe.
Anybody knows that you don't disturb key evidence at a crime scene. Any retard that wasn't a crime scene. A fifth grade level.
Wait, it wasn't a crime scene?
No, it wasn't. It wasn't designated a crime scene until
it wasn't a crime scene. Oh, if you didn't know that.
No crime occurred.
You know who has the expertise to decide whether someone disturbed a crime scene such that it deserves censure? The police. And what have the police not done? They've never charged Terrell Farnsworth with disturbing a crime scene. And as far as I know, they've never fined.
Is it the same FBI institution that was arresting Trump and raiding his house? Are these the same institutions that we're now putting blind trust in, Blake?
I don't know that the Orem Police Department ever raided Donald Trump. So
didn't the FBI handle most of the evidence in this case? We heard that today. You watched the live stream today.
The FBI would have only gotten there a little while after the shooting happened. They wouldn't be involved in immediately securing the crime scene.
They were
I have
there
a
that day.
question.
Okay, they were there that day. Well, were they there that minute? Because that's
So
when
you said that you knew Terrell took it. The reason why I asked you that is because I'm trying to figure out, right, why Terrell didn't give them the original SD cards. He turned in a flash drive and then he gave them a Google Drive link. If you SD cards that fit in those cameras are micro SD cards. You know that, I know that. Anybody with a brain knows that. They're not full-size computer flash drives. So he transferred the video content from the SD card to the flash drive, which means that the police, the defense, the prosecution, nobody has the original. That's the problem with him taking the SD cards, right? Is that there needs to be a chain of custody for evidence like that. Those are the closest cameras to Charlie Kirk when he died. They have the best perspective as to what really happened. And instead of them leaving in the hands of the police or the FBI, they walked off in the hands of Charlie Kirk's staff. That's a problem.
No, it's not. Not really, because they turned them in later.
Get off the gas, girl. No, that's not right, man. That's not right, Blake.
Right. Well, okay. Terrell's stated reason for why he did that is because there was a big scene of chaos and mayhem, and he didn't want someone to possibly run off with the camera, or who knows, run off with the SD card, and so he secured it before they all
There was 7 police officers standing around him when he did that. 7.
Okay.
Okay,
I have a question. I have a question here.
Diligent, if he gave him the SD cards right away.
Iota of evidence at any point that the video actually was edited, or explain how he would do that in a plausible
you cannot because you can't transfer that file from one place to another without losing data.
Has it actually been important that that video, however HD it is, actually is conclusive proof of what Tyler Robinson did, because we have a bunch of other evidence that that's
okay. There's a problem here.
If there was another explanation other than Tyler Robinson, if there was another explanation other than Tyler Robinson and it was captured on one of those cameras and that video footage has been altered, we will never know. And I think that's exactly why, in my opinion, that's exactly why that footage left the scene.
For example, wouldn't we actually be able to detect it, for instance, because there are dozens of other videos of it from different angles?
Lower quality phone cameras, further away.
If there was an FBI agent right there that Terrell handed it over to it, by your logic, it would have been manipulated anyhow because the FBI was in on it, and you can't trust the FBI. So
the
what
FBI,
do you care?
He did not turn it over. He did not.
What do you care about anything?
It's about chain of custody because the metadata would have been recorded when the FBI agent
metadata is still on the car.
Hey, we're not doing this. We're not doing this.
It's a back and forth.
Everybody needs to take a time out for just a minute. This is ridiculous, right? So we have a few speakers that's up. So Myron is up. We have Blake. We have Muppet. We have Corby. He has a question. So let's just take a breath for a minute, and then we can go back to it. But we're not going to have this fighting, okay? Okay, so who wants to come up? And please, let's not overtalk each other.
Baron has a question whenever you get a chance. I'll put my hand up.
Yeah, so I have 16 requests. It's grown since then, so.
I just have some detailed questions if I can ask Blake, if that's all right. Nothing crazy. Who did you fly in with, Blake?
I flew in with Charlie.
With Charlie on Charlie's plane. So at the Salt Lake City interview at Savory Fun, how many security guards did he have with him there?
I don't know.
You couldn't remember? You can't count them up?
I mean, it was a number greater than 1, and I don't know the exact number of people he had at any particular...
Well, just think back, you were there, so
okay.
How many security would he have had?
Charlie, the amount of security Charlie would have, I mean, you would have Dan, you would have Brian Harpole, and among other things, yeah, I just don't remember. I couldn't tell you off the top of my head the exact number.
Yeah, well, hey, he didn't have Brian Harpole with him because Brian was already at UVU. So
wait, hold on. Isn't that what you said in Utah?
At the Savory Fund interview with Andrew Smith before he went to UVU.
And prior, I wasn't at that event. I was in the other SUV.
So where were you in between time? When you got off the plane, where did you go?
I was in the other SUV.
Did you go straight to UVU?
We had 2 SUVs. I was in the one Charlie wasn't in, and I was somewhere. I actually have no idea where they parked it.
What do you mean you don't know where you were?
I'd never been to Utah before. We had.
So you got off the plane with Charlie. You jumped in the other SUV. Where did you go?
We went somewhere. Why would I?
You went somewhere.
Why would I remember that? Like, can you consider for just one moment that I did not know that Charlie was going to
Did you go straight to the UVU event?
around the Orem, Utah area? We went.
Surely you've been asked these questions by the authorities, right?
Why would I be asked the questions like that by the
Because
authorities?
you're a key witness to a murder.
No, I'm not. I'm 100.
Surely you can. Hang on. Surely you can remember what you did that morning.
I'm a key witness to Charlie's life. I'm not a particularly important witness to the murder.
So you got off the plane. You got in the SUV. Where did you go?
Crime scene.
Hang on. Let me finish the question. Where did you go?
What do you mean? Where did I go?
You got off the plane. You got in the SUV.
Did you go to a restaurant? Did you go to the strip club? Where did you go?
We drove somewhere, and because I wasn't going to that event, we just like parked and we marked time until the actual Utah Valley event, and then we
realize you're making yourself look really bad right now by not answering that question. But just go ahead, continue.
Why is that making me look really bad? Like what? Do you want to check?
So when did you meet up? Hang on. Let me finish it. So when did you meet up with Charlie to follow him to UVU?
I don't believe I ever did meet up with Charlie. I think he went to that event.
You followed him in.
I thought
you followed him into UVU.
But in the event, I believe we drove there, and I was not directly outside that event. So the memory I have is us driving to the event, and then I was talking on the phone with Charlie.
You were in the SUV right behind Charlie, so you must have met up with him to travel there together.
When did you start following Charlie in your ride?
I don't.
Yeah.
Like, again, you like ask these like these are incredibly important questions, and the truth
is they are very important questions for details of the timeline of events for that morning.
Because it is an incredibly important question. That's why you're not answering it.
No one presented a single reason why this would be important.
I can tell you
because
exactly
it fills in the timeline of events.
I have filled in the timeline to the best of my ability. I went with Charlie to Utah.
No, you haven't.
I sat in a car while Charlie did his speech at some event that I wasn't involved in. And
so who was in your car?
Utah Valley.
Philip.
And we drove to Utah. While we drove to Utah Valley, as I was explaining, since I wasn't in the same car as Charlie, I was on the phone texting with him various ideas on how to, because we knew we had some inkling of what the early questions were going to be, because like people would get in line for all that.
Yep. So you and Philip do his questions and answers, and that's fine. Who was it? Did you have a security guy in your car?
Excuse me. The thing we were talking about as we were driving there was I was texting with him about arguments in favor of monogamy and Christian monogamy and stuff. He was asking for guidelines why that was awesome.
Likely questions that Mormons are going to ask. Yeah, we get that. That's fine. Who else was in your car? Do you have a security guy with you?
I don't remember the specific people in my car. I believe I.
Come on, Blake.
Oh, why would I remember all of these things?
It's pretty easy. It was just you and Danny Phillip.
That might be who it was. Yeah,
you could remember that.
Did Charlie go inside anywhere? Like when he got to UVU, do you know? Did he go in any buildings, any restrooms, anything like that?
I don't know because I wasn't with him when he arrived. I believe I arrived ahead of him, if I remember right.
If you were in the SUV behind him, how could you arrive ahead of him?
I don't remember
because he did a meet and greet.
Going anywhere. My memory is him arriving. We would arrive behind the scene where the tent was, and then Charlie walked in, and everyone was recording it. He was grabbing the hats and he was throwing them out. It was a big crowd. I remember.
Were you with Brian Simowitz that morning?
I remember turning to someone on our team and going, "Remember when this was just 20 people?" And she goes, "I was here when it was just 20 people." I remember that line. I remember the crowd being really hyped, and then he sits down and he starts taking questions.
So then he didn't go anywhere. So this morning during the trial, and I know that you guys watched the stream because you broadcasted it on Charlie's page, which is a little morbid, but whatever. There was a moment, and the defense attorney failed to follow up on it, where the officer said that Tyler Robinson met with a TPUSA representative at 10:30 a.m. the morning of September the 10th. Do you have any idea who that TPUSA representative is that the leading officer described this morning?
Sorry, can you repeat that?
This morning, the leading officer on the case, right, of the Utah SBI, right? He was giving the timeline of events. And during that timeline of events, the officer said that Tyler Robinson, in his shorts, the first time he went there around 10 a.m. in the morning, he climbed through the stairwell wearing his shorts. He didn't have the pants and the limp and all of that. And after he left the parking lot structure, he met with, and this is his words, okay, met with TPUSA representatives. Do you know who they are? Tyler Robinson on September the 10th?
And even if I did, I wouldn't tell you because you guys would just harass that person, and I know that that person didn't do anything.
Oh, that's the same way that we would harass somebody who took an SD card from a murder scene?
Yes, yeah. Actually,
I have never harassed that guy.
You've harassed.
And I've known for months.
People I know who did nothing wrong and have absolutely no reason to suspect them because you people
are you responsible for what other people do or say? We're not the left, are we, Blake?
Against a case that
words are not violence, Blake.
I have a question. I would like to ask, what Charlie did is he taught people. He taught people to question the government when something doesn't make sense. You should ask questions and you should question things. And what this is about, what this entire case is about, these two different sides who are kind of fighting each other is we look at the evidence. We don't have access to the evidence. We're not on the ground with Charlie. We didn't know him. We weren't there. But what we see doesn't make sense. It doesn't feel right. And Charlie told us if that's the case, we should ask questions, look for answers, investigate for ourselves, and not trust the government. The olive branch I would like to extend to you is try to empathize with that. That's what we're about. It doesn't make sense to us. We don't feel like we have enough information to understand this case the way you do that might help you reach the conclusion
COVID,
you made.
The 2020 election, every institutional authority has betrayed us for a long time, right? And we all watched this happen. This didn't just affect you guys. I know that it affected the people closest to Charlie the most, but my kid, right, my teenage daughter, watched him being shot on TikTok when she tried to avoid it over and over and over. The entire country was traumatized by that event. Everybody cares, right? And the reason why you guys are taking so much heat, because it seems like you are a lot less curious about flipping over every stone possible.
Can he respond to that before we go on the attack, please?
I actually, at what point, what is even the question at this point?
The question is, can you empathize with that?
I mean, what I would say is I can understand a generalized attitude of skepticism, but what I've always warned people, I warned Charlie about this because Charlie was more, he was more open to, let's just say, conspiracy theories than I was. We would argue about the Kennedy case. We would argue about a lot of other stuff. And what I've always warned people is you cannot allow a attitude of skepticism to turn into a generalized attitude of I'm going to dismiss everything. I'm going to lash out and attack people. I'm going to believe things that believe narratives that are frankly manifestly insane.
Are you qualified to represent Charlie on his show when he's dead?
Whether I'm qualified or not, unfortunately, I believe a transgender lunatic murdered Charlie, and as a result,
how we can't even see him on the roof.
So if he got murdered by a transgender lunatic, that allows you to speak in his name after he's dead?
I don't think I've ever claimed to just speak in his name. I'm doing my best to carry on his legacy on the show that he created with the people.
Well, I watched his parents walk in, and I looked up, and it said Charlie Kirk is hosting. I'm sorry, that is really sickening. There's never been a thing in history where somebody has literally, from their own account, covered their own murder proceedings.
There's never been a case where a prominent social media influencer was gruesomely murdered by someone who hated them in an attempt.
He was assassinated.
Exactly. That's why we're thinking it's a big deal. But you guys said it wasn't even a crime scene. You said it.
And we believe, and Erica, his widow, believes that it would be a very unfortunate thing to just have the platform that he worked so hard to build, the message he worked so hard to build, be immediately snuffed out because a left-wing radical murdered him. And so for now, We have
don't know
continued
that
to
yet.
use that
You're
platform.
assuming that 11.
Yeah, hang on, man. We'll pull you right up on that
Can we
because
get back
that's
to the events of the
we're
day?
innocent until proven guilty, bro.
As long
You're already
as
saying
Erica
that he's
wishes us
already
to do
did it.
so. And
Do you believe-
Okay, well,
still
why did you have to
saying
AI the video? Why did you have to AI it?
we didn't?
Yeah,
It's a
why
good
was
question.
the AI?
We didn't AI the video.
Clearly,
I don't know why
You
well,
didn't
that's a
alter the
fact.
video?
we did not AI
The
or
AI,
alter the video. The video is unaltered.
AI Charlie, where he says, I appoint my wife.
That is not an AI video.
So the day, real quick,
Oh,
and
man.
you know what, Blake? Despite the fact that I disagree with a lot of what you're saying, I do appreciate that you're willing to take these questions like this. I have not seen many people from TPUSA willing to face the gauntlet, and I don't mean to be disrespectful to you. If it sounds like I am, it's just because I am highly skeptical, because we have been jaded and fucked over by the government and the authorities for a very long time, right?
Well, if
I think.
I could reply to that for a bit. What I would
Go
say,
ahead.
if someone actually, I would love it if people really just did approach us and say, I don't fully understand these things. I would like some of these things explained more. I would be a lot more charitable. But what I have
Can we do a town hall?
excuse me, I'm still speaking. What I have consistently seen for the past 10 months is I have seen people be extremely nasty. I have seen them bully, harass, intimidate, and be wantonly cruel towards people who were around Charlie, whom, even if they're asking questions, they absolutely have no evidence, let alone proof, that these people were involved in Charlie's death. And yet they act in a very malicious and nasty way. And I've seen that happen over and over and
Some
over.
of them do, but
That has played a major role in me taking an increasingly jaundiced attitude towards these people, because in truth, I believe that many of them don't care that much about the truth. I think they enjoy finding an excuse to attack other people.
I didn't. Tyler Boyer used to follow me. I've met him, right? And I was legitimately, softly asking questions, and I was responded to with vitriol, right? Because people were grieving, they were close, they were dealing, and like every time, right, for months and months and months, it kept being, well, we can't ask questions right now because it's too close, right? It's too soon. And then it got nasty. And so I think, so the nastiness, I think, has been both ways. You guys started calling people conspiracy theorists for asking legitimate questions on Charlie's own show within weeks of the assassination, right? So TPUSA is not without guilt here.
Can I ask one really specific question, Blake? There's I would text exchange between Phil Lyman and a couple of other people, and he specifically states in that Tyler Boyer threatened him back in December, and he mentions you in the text exchange. Apparently, you contacted him after that.
Forgotten about it, so I don't know off the top of my head what you're referring to.
Blake, do you know Victor Marks?
Did you?
Hang on, can I just clarify?
Go ahead.
It was when Phil Lyman was in DC, Sarah Rogers is involved, and it specifically states that Tyler Boyer contacted Phil Lyman in December and threatened him. And then a day or two later, you joined into that same conversation, and there's no context. We don't know what the threat is. We don't know what the context of the conversation is. Can you clear that up?
I don't have any real memory of this, and I'd probably have
It'll be in your phone. You had text messages with Phil Lyman or phone calls with Phil Lyman. It'll be in your phone.
Maybe you can come back to it, Blake. Do you remember?
I don't have it on a text exchange.
Do you remember when you left like Orem or the Orem area that night? Did you leave on the 10th, like the evening of the 10th?
No, we left the following day.
And did you, like, how did you get back to Phoenix?
I went back on a jet that was made available to us.
Like a private jet or something?
Yeah.
On the 11th?
On the 11th.
So you were in Orem on the night of the 10th?
Yes, I was.
Interesting. Thank you.
What I don't know why that's interesting, but Yeah, I was.
Well, I mean, you remember what you did afterwards. You remember leaving and how you got to arrive, right?
I don't. I don't want to be.
You don't remember. You don't
want
remember
to,
what you did when you got there,
I don't
right? You
want.
don't remember what you did when you
I
got
don't
there, but
want.
you remember how you left. It's
I don't want to
interesting.
be mean, but you don't find it rather likely that you're going to have a better memory of things immediately after an incredibly shocking and memorable event?
No, actually, your adrenaline's running, your blood pressure's up, your heart rate's increased. You're a lot less likely to remember things after a heated moment than you are just before, right? The calm before
If
the
I
storm.
landed in Salt Lake City and got in an SUV, I'd know where I went.
Hold on. Your question is literally, when did you leave and how did you leave? And in fact, I also know that for before the event, that I arrived on a plane the day of the event and I left on a plane the day after the event. If you ask me every single who was on the same plane as me, I don't remember.
Were you at the hospital?
I was at the hospital, yes.
And then you went to, if you don't mind, of course, only answer what you feel comfortable with. Did you go to the hotel after you left the hospital?
Yes, I was at the hospital most of the day, and I went back to the hotel that we ended up staying at that evening.
And
What happened when you got to the?
Did you stay at the hotel all night?
Yes, as far as I can remember.
Can you tell us what happened when you got to the hospital?
As far as you can remember.
When I got to the hospital, I stayed in the ER waiting room for the rest of the day.
What did you hear?
What did I hear? I was told at one point that Charlie had died, and I mean, what else would I hear?
Did you guys go there right after in the SUV?
I was not.
Like, did you guys
in the SUV that I did not go in the SUV. I did not go in the car that Charlie was taken in by the security. I traveled to the hospital a short time later in a police cruiser.
Okay. When did Erica get there?
Erica got there later that day. I don't remember the exact time, but obviously she was not in the city and she had to be flown in very quickly. So that happened, but I don't recall the exact time she arrived at the hospital. And I did not. I
didn't know she was in the city
that day because there were the people who saw Charlie's body, who had access to the surgeon, the doctor. I was not one of those people, so there were others on this team, and they were controlling access to it pretty severely. So I was out, like I said, in the kind of ER waiting room. Several other members of the team were there. Over time, other people trickled in, like those who weren't in Orem that day. Initially, a lot of them flew in. Some other people were allowed in eventually. Like I remember someone eventually, because we had no food there for a long time, someone eventually got in bearing food. I can't remember what it was. I think it might have been Chick-fil-A we eventually got. But
can I just rewind? Was Nate Walker in your car, Blake?
Was who?
Nate Walker.
I think he may have gone to the hospital with us. I don't think he was in the car when I arrived.
How did he get to UVU from the Savory Fund interview?
I don't know.
Was he with you?
I have told you I don't remember who was in the SUV. So I can't recall where specific people were at each specific moment.
I have a question about Mikey, if I could ask.
I mean, it depends on the question, but Mikey, I consider a good friend.
Okay. So right when, everything happened, you both kind of like ran in the same direction, but Mikey walked and you ran. And then in your interview, you said you met up with Mikey out in the parking lot. Can you explain that when you ran and he walked? So 2 questions. When did you see Mikey? And then 2, why did Mikey walk so slow when the person right next to him, which was you, was running? Why was he walking and you were running?
I'm not sure the exact reason. I think there's probably a lot of potential reasons. There were people in front of him. Everyone reacts differently to a extremely shocking and traumatic event. He might have been following where other people were going initially. As for how we met up, I ran for a bit, and then it occurred to me that, one, I was actually in not the best of shape at that time, so I couldn't run a dead run that long. And then I would also say I realized there hadn't been another gunshot because the initial reason I fled was I thought there was an active shooter, and I as I've told you, I thought it was closer initially, that it was like possibly someone in the crowd, but I realized there hadn't been another shooter at that point, so I probably wasn't in immediate danger. So I slowed up, and then I made contact with Mikey. I can't remember the exact way that happened, but this had to happen. I doubt it was much more than a minute after the shooting.
Are you aware that there's cameras that followed Mikey all the way to the parking lot and he was by himself? And remember, you're running and he's walking. We were able to see him walk all the way out to the parking lot and he was by himself. So when you met Mikey, were you out in the parking lot, like where your cars are? And like, where were you guys? What did you guys meet at? Because like I said, he was walking and you were running.
Well,
in the parking lot?
I have told you I fled, and then I eventually stopped running, and I presumably, however it happened, Mikey was near me. I don't think.
Did you both drive to the hospital together since y'all did meet up?
We traveled together eventually. What happened was I met up with him. He called his wife, and then he called Erica. And then meanwhile, I called my mother, which I've explained before. After those phone calls, I'm not going to divulge the details of them.
Yeah, that's fine.
Mikey called, I believe he called his father and said that Charlie had been shot and that his father needed to call all of his pastor friends to have them pray for Charlie.
So my question is, did you and Mikey ride together to the hospital?
Yes,
or did you ride separately?
We sort of what happened was
who got in whose car or what?
We worked our way back to the scene of the shooting where police were. We'd gathered a few members of the team at that point, and they detailed a police officer, and he drove us to the hospital. So it was.
So a police officer drove you and Mikey together. Y'all both went together in a police officer's car, right?
Drove there together.
Okay. And another thing, and I don't want to take up all the time. Terrell Farnsworth, he took the SD cards out. You talked about that already. But why were 5 officers surrounding Terrell Farnsworth after everybody was gone? Why were they guarding him in particular? They were surrounding him. Do you know why? It seemed like they were guarding him more than they were guarding Charlie Kirk. I'm just wondering about that.
Well, it's possible that this is all happening in a matter of seconds. It's possible that they were less surrounding Terrell and they were more surrounding the scene at which Charlie had been shot. But I have not seen what you're in particular referring to. I will say, I think, I'll just say it bluntly, I think conspiracy theories involving Terrell, who I personally know, are profoundly delusional and often very mean.
In what way?
In
what way?
Well, because I don't think first of all, since I personally know him, I know absolutely zero reason to suspect him of being involved in anything. And I know that he's faced a lot of harassment, and it's been certainly a traumatic for him to go through all of that when he already has to deal with losing the friend and boss that he'd worked with for many years, and that his family was.
I think Terrell's selfie video was a bit sort of that's why. That's where it all started from. I mean, doing his weird selfie video straight afterwards, and then taking the SD cards out. With this whole flash drive, hang on. With the whole SD flash drive thing, can you confirm whether it was a flash drive or an SD card that was handed over to the police?
I have no idea.
He's your friend. Could you ask him?
I mean, I could, but I don't think it's terrible.
It's a very important detail. If it's an SD card from the camera, it's absolutely the original footage. If it's on a flash drive, it's not the original footage.
Can you text him?
The integrity of that footage becomes into question because he's transferred it to a flash drive.
I don't think the integrity of the footage is in question.
Absolutely does. Absolutely does. How can you not see?
Well,
How can you not
he
see
may
that?
not know. I
Let's
want
not
to
pile
get
drive.
to. Yeah, I want to get to what he may actually know. You said Terrell is good friends with, Charlie, just like all of you guys, right? Why is it that you guys are running and y'all went to the hospital to tend to Charlie? Why was Terrell just focused on, because he actually took the chair that Charlie died on, stood on it, and started taking down like cameras. It didn't seem like he was too concerned about this guy that you all cared about. And why did he take down the camera that was right behind Charlie in particular? Because that was the most important camera of all of this, because it would have shown what happened to the back of his neck. But it's like everybody's running around and you guys went to the hospital, which that's a good thing, but he stayed behind just to take cameras down. Is there a reason why he didn't go to the hospital with you two?
Well,
You and Mikey?
first of all, I think you're probably underappreciating the large number of people affiliated with Turning Point who are at that scene. So it's actually not a valid cause for vilification that they did not all immediately go to the hospital. I would say that probably the reason we went is we were the ones who'd come in with Charlie. We were the ones who were working directly with him. Terrell is a guy who he had a whole group of people who worked for him. He has a scene that he is the one who actually is setting up the technical scene. But hold on, taking a step back here, this bizarre, intense need to police the microscopically, every random act of random people that because you guys saw them on a camera the day it happened, you've decided to go after them. Mikey.
No, we've absolutely witnessed suspicious behavior, Blake, from a lot of people.
Didn't move quickly enough for them, and because he had his hand near his ear, and so they invent something that is that.
And we're not talking about Mikey. It was all about Terrell and what Terrell did at the moment, and it's unexplainable.
Human behavior.
Terrell took an SD card out of a camera after a shooting.
Yeah, I want to know if that SD card was handed straight to the police or if it was transferred to a flash drive and also a Google Drive transfer.
I have an idea.
But hang on, just one last question I need to ask, and then you can drop me down.
Real fast.
Blake, do you know Victor Marks?
Who?
Before we switch topics, Mr. Neff, would you text Mr. Farnsworth and ask him if he handed over a flash drive or an SD card? Thank you.
No, I'm actually not going to do this because I think he's faced enough harassment for this, and I think this is
I think it's a reasonable request.
It's not like we're asking him to give us the last four of his Soch, right?
Again, you got there's
absolutely
feel harassed now.
No valid reason that has ever been presented to think that Terrell actually did anything wrong. The police have never claimed.
Well, then his answer
should never claimed he did anything wrong.
Then his answer should be easy to give, right?
And that's the reason why we're asking. He might be perfectly innocent, but if it was a flash drive or an SD card, it makes a big difference.
I can tell you, when I have nothing to hide, I am very open. I don't hide behind emotional.
I appreciate you being here.
Woke answers that this hurts too much for me to answer. That's ridiculous.
No,
we're asking very simple questions
by people that demand. I have Dane.
Blake, we want to create a safe space for you. I just want to say that
nobody's trying to attack Carol.
I am not going to rope in everybody else. The questions from people who I do bluntly.
Okay,
Carol's already roped in.
I have one. Then I'll drop. You said that you stayed in Orem the night of September the 10th. You said that you went and stayed at the hotel, but you said you didn't know if you left. You're not sure if you left the hotel that night?
I mean, I don't believe I did.
You don't believe you did?
I mean, I probably stepped out because I was wondering if there was any food. I think is probably what I imagined, but it was late and it was a weeknight.
You said that you had to get a ride from the troopers to the hotel, so you didn't have your own car. Correct?
No, I did not.
So how did you step out?
I mean, I didn't step out from the hotel in any significant way. I may have physically stepped outside the building at some point. I didn't go anywhere else.
Okay. Can I just ask one last question, then you can drop me down? Blake, do you know Victor Marks?
Victor Marks? We've met him at some point.
Yeah.
We had him on the show once.
Yeah, and do you know Eileen, his wife?
It's possible I've met her, but I wouldn't say I know her well.
Do they do anything with the security for you guys? Does Victor Marks supply the security team?
I can't speak to that.
Well, Victor already did. Victor already said on the night that he swapped his team over for Charlie's team. So,
are you one of the main producers of the Charlie Kirk Show? Right.
I am producer on the Charlie Kirk Show.
Would you be willing to, if people were willing to be cordial, would you be willing to try to arrange a more of a like with more people from the show who are there or even at the TPUSA to have a kind of very, very moderated town hall? I think that a lot of the animosity and suspicion would be laid at ease if people weren't vilified for asking reasonable questions, and maybe that would help both sides here.
Hey, can I jump in real quick, guys? I've noticed, because I came in here and I've been listening very intently to all the conversation here, and there's been a lot of accusatory questions and everything else like that. So how about this? For all the people that, don't believe the official narrative, you guys don't agree with it, you're asking Blake all these questions, how about you guys give him your theory and then let him work it backwards and tell you what did or didn't happen? I think that would be a little bit better, because I can see that you guys are asking a lot of questions to try to figure things out. Why not just give your theory and let him tell you or fill in whatever you might be thinking happened?
Okay, Blake, did Victor Marks,
I think that would be
a co-conspirator in Charlie's murder?
No, it's actually long-winded having you guys ask like a bunch of questions at the same time. So I think it'd be better if I honestly do.
It's longer-winded for him to have like a long story narrative, right, and not ask specific questions about details.
I see what you're saying. I got an idea, Myron. I've got it.
I just asked a specific question. Was Victor Marks a co-conspirator in Charlie's murder? That's my theory.
No, he doesn't know.
Okay, Myron, I have a question on that line. Okay, so there is something that is unusual to me. And Blake, I wondered if you would find this unusual. So the Farnsworths, whatever they do, they do, video, audio. They've done it for years. In 2009, they made a video about literally shooting.
You're asking me about something in 2000?
Yes, and yeah. You just hold on. But it's almost the exact same way that Charlie died. That they fell down exactly. He hit his neck, and so I would just like, I could show you exactly. I mean, that's an extreme coincidence.
I'm going to be very blunt with you. When you see coded echoes of real world events in videos made 17 years ago,
I'll be blunt with you. I mean, it seems like if something was going to be, I mean, it's almost exactly to a T, though. But also, okay, so Jack was on.
I will say I have no idea what you are talking about.
That's fine.
Farnsworth.
That's fine.
Even Terrell Farnsworth, he would have. I think he's around maybe a few years older than me, and so if this was in 2009, he'd be what, in college? A lot of them are younger than me, so they would be in high school then. And so
I'm just asking you if you think it would be weird if there was a video that's almost exactly the same.
Not really. I mean,
no. Okay, that's fine. That was your answer. And then really quick, when Jack was on the show, or he was reporting live. So when did But then he wasn't able to come. But when did Andrew fly down from Phoenix?
He flew down that day. He flew down that day, or flew up, I should say.
From where?
From Phoenix.
Oh, okay.
Or for wherever he flew in from. I don't want to say from Phoenix.
All right,
so Blake, somebody was asking you a question about.
No, he did fly in from Phoenix, and Glenn Beck said it. Glenn Beck said it was from Phoenix.
I'll be honest, a lot of you
Glenn Beck doesn't work for us, but
I've been listening to this for a minute. Guys, a lot of you guys are beating around the bush with your questions. Just straight up, give your theory.
These are specific questions we've wanted answers to for a really long time.
Right.
We've been listening to him give his narrative and story, and the other staff every day on Charlie Kirk Show for a long time. We don't need to hear them story tell like we have been for the last year.
I'm telling you, since
I don't have a theory. I ask questions. I want to get to the truth.
We're just simply asking questions.
Because clearly some people here have theories. I could tell from the leading questions, is it not this, blah, blah. Clearly, some of you guys have a theory, so just tell them your theory, and then let's work it backwards. Say it with your chest.
Okay, so when you were at the hospital, Blake, were you around Brian Harpo, or were you in a different room?
They don't like getting answers, and they get very nasty if you try to give them any. And I will say, I don't think that this room has substantially disproven that suspicion of mine.
Is there another arena you would love to have a conversation like this with somebody?
Not particularly.
No one has been rude to you at all.
Yeah.
People have been quite rude to me throughout this discussion.
Is there another environment you would feel more comfortable having these conversations? Is the question.
Not particularly.
Like on your show, on somebody else's show, it's just a question. Would you be open to that?
Not really.
Can we come to Arizona?
It'll be a little bit.
Why are you here now then?
It'll be less volatile.
I appreciate you being here, Blake. I think
I appreciate it too, but
you got kahunas.
It wasn't.
It would like.
It wasn't a very large. I joined, and I didn't realize it would be so full of this many people. But since it was here,
but if you think this is a volatile environment, let's find another environment that would be more suitable for these conversations. Is all I'm saying.
I said why I dislike it. It's not merely that it's volatile. I dislike it because I think a very large number of the questions are asked in bad faith. I think they are asked from a position of trying to harass people, trying to hurt people. I think they are asked by people who are often profoundly delusional, and they do not accept your answers if you simply say, I think you are being delusional and hurtful.
Have I told you that you were lying one time? Has anybody called you a liar? No. Nobody said that. Nobody has scoffed at your answers. I may have thrown up a laughy emoji.
Scoffed at my answers repeatedly. They've scoffed that.
Yeah. You guys, look, dude, guys, cut the shit.
I admit it. I have. I'm honest.
Hold on. Your mic.
If I have a problem with your answer, I'm gonna say something.
Australian dude. Australian guy. Chill out.
People in this conversation.
Guys, I literally came in here. I've been listening intently for at least 30, 40 minutes. You guys have been rude, accusatory, cutting him off, scoffing at his answers. That's a full of shit. So what I'm saying is this:
I have been. I admit it.
I know you have. So
I'm an honest conversationalist, man.
Dude, why are you still talking? It's very simple.
Because you're talking. You're taking up time that doesn't need to be taken up. Dude, Blake's a big boy. He can stand up.
Dude. I'm telling you to say it with your fucking chest. Give the theory. Tell him what you think happened. Stop beating around and stop being pussies.
Judas Harpo did it.
Why are we turning into the ground of like trying to create defamation, right? By accusing people of doing things. When we start spouting theories, right, there's a high likelihood you're going to have people making false accusations that they can't prove. And we already know that TPUSA is sending out cease and desist in mass, and our former staff members are already suing people. Candace Owens is a good example, right?
Okay,
I would rather ask the questions that have been bothering me for almost a year than sit here and try to posit theories or accuse people of shit that I can't prove or disprove.
Then here's the thing, though. You're asking those questions from a frame. You're asking those questions because you have an idea.
You're taking up time by arguing with us.
Shut the fuck up, dude.
We're trying to talk to him, bro.
Shut your ass up, bro. Shut up. Okay.
You shut the fuck up. Who the fuck are you?
Who's this watermelon warrior?
This is devolving.
Anyway,
let's devolving.
I'm just saying,
sir. We're talking to Blake, not you.
Stop.
Hey, hang on, time out.
I might have to drop you.
We're talking with Blake, not Myron.
Pussy question. Say what it is, man.
I know, but listen, everybody. Can we just take a beat? If everybody can just give, others, just let everyone respond, please. I don't want there to be a fight. I know we all have big opinions, but
look, I'm going to be simple about this. I'm going to make it very nice and short and succinct. These guys are asking leading questions. They clearly have a theory. They're too scared to say their theory because I know that they're asking questions in a manner because they have an idea of what they think transpired on that day, and they refuse to tell what their theory is because they're scared. What I'm saying is, if you're going to go ahead and harass the guy and ask these questions, cool. Tell him what you think your theory is and work it backwards.
Myron, will you look in the nest? Myron, will you look in the nest? Look in the nest and you'll see my theory.
Elizabeth, just come in.
Just say it, dude. Just say your theory.
Yeah. Judas Harpole, he squeezed the detonated trigger underneath his shirt that blew up the shaped charge pendant underneath Charlie's shirt.
Now,
Judas Harpole.
I disavow, by the way.
So I have a...
Yeah, I gotta be dreaming right now.
I have a question for Blake Neff, this Elizabeth Lane. Is it okay if I just ask?
Yeah, come on, come in.
Great. So we've been hearing that TPUSA keeps pointing fingers at Tyler Robinson. I have a very simple question. No offense, no nothing. Blake, if you were on trial instead of Tyler Robinson, would you be comfortable going to prison on this evidence presented? Would you be comfortable being called guilty by widow or whoever, I don't care, whoever? would you be comfortable taking this evidence where your face is not on the video, on any video? Again, it's a factual thing. We all heard there is no face of Tyler Robinson in any of these videos. I've heard it twice now. One time I was at the court when I heard it. So that's one. Number two, would you be comfortable when prosecution and defense agree there's two DNAs on your belongings where your DNA should be? It's your gun. It's your gun, it's your clothes. But all of a sudden then ends up some other guy's DNA on it that shouldn't really be there. Would you be comfortable if everyone called you, you're guilty, no one should ask questions, shut up everybody, go home, let's just get Tyler Robinson on a death row? If you were that guy, Blake, would you be comfortable? Yes or no? That's all I need. Yes or no?
Well, if I were, so you're asking if I were Tyler Robinson, would I think I was guilty? Yeah.
No, I didn't say if you were Tyler Robinson. Excuse me, if you didn't hear, let me repeat this. Yeah, I never said if you were Tyler Robinson. I said if you were in his place, not where Tyler Robinson. That's a very different question.
If I had that evidence,
Yes.
that evidence would include me being on the campus throughout the day of September 10th when I live many hours away. The evidence would include a rifle with my DNA on it. The evidence would include shells or bullet rounds that have machining on them, and I have a machine tool in my home. The evidence would include my parents confronting me and me confessing to them and agreeing to be turned into the police. The evidence would include my partner testifying to the police against me. The evidence would include text messages that I sent to that partner declaring.
So now you're going over the no. None of this. Where'd you hear parents testify? Where? No. Hold on. You can't lie. You can't lie about this stuff. If you're gonna answer,
you only said you would ask one. So
he answered your question.
well, again, he answered with lies. He literally said, Blake, you can't just say something that didn't happen. Where, point out time frame right now, time frame, where did you hear parents testify that they absolutely believe that Tyler Robinson confessed and they believe he's guilty? Where did you hear that? That did not happen. So if you want to sit here like to kind of gaslight us that you're coming in good faith, I want to believe you're here for good faith. Yes, good, bro. Let's do this. Where did you hear that? I'm just giving you factual stuff from today and yesterday. Only sticking with that. I can go and like manipulate the narrative as you are right now all day long. I spoke to the parents, unlike you. I actually was there. I spoke to them directly. I know exactly how they feel. I was the one who spoke to the grandpa. I know exactly how he feels. And he disagrees with you. So you can gaslight me right now all day long, telling me, oh, Elizabeth, they did this. No, they didn't. So when you hear that, you can send me a video. I'll accept it from you, Blake. Send me a video when parents say, oh, yes, we believe Tyler Robinson is guilty.
They've never
he confessed
said that.
to all of us.
I've talked to the family. They have never said that he confessed. As a matter of fact,
exactly.
He did not confess to the parents.
Hold on. We know, but let's be fair to Blake. Let's be fair to Blake, okay? Very simple. Just with the evidence presented in these last 2 days, Blake, would you be comfortable going to prison? Yes or no? That's all I need from you. This will be on record.
I already answered that question. Next person.
Oh, okay, great. You didn't answer the question, but thank you.
The question.
That's it.
He answered the question. I told you he answered the question. Of course,
I'm not gonna lie, Elizabeth, that was a stupid question because they don't have all the evidence. This is a prelim hearing for probable cause. You're stupid. That was
exactly. Well, that's my point. They don't have all the evidence.
So we need to move on to another person asking the question.
I would rather ask questions that he knows answers to and not hypotheticals.
That was a stupid question. We're literally in a preliminary hearing establishing probable cause. Like we clearly.
Then why are they pointing? Why are they saying Tyler Robinson is guilty and stop asking questions? That's why I asked that question.
There's more evidence.
He is literally the defendant that is charged by the police.
Dude.
And they have a large amount of evidence against him. They have a tremendous amount of evidence against him.
We're in a position to ask questions, ma'am. Just ask another question.
Blake,
just ask a question.
Do you believe that American...
Up the next question or like...
Just ask another question.
Blake, do you believe that Americans are presumed innocent until proven guilty by a jury of their peers?
Why are we doing this trial?
Do you believe that Tyler Robinson is being afforded that right?
Yes, he seems to be getting that right in an incredibly exhaustive way.
Is he being afforded that right by TPUSA?
What?
Is Tyler Robinson being afforded the right to be considered innocent until proven guilty by TPUSA?
That is not a right that you get from other people. That's a right you get from the government.
So, but it's a foundational principle of our country, correct? You are a conservative, right?
You are presumed you are innocent until proven guilty.
Great. Why are you guys then shutting everyone like, why are you guys shutting everyone off?
Let's just take turns asking questions. That's all we got to do.
You didn't even get to answer me. Go ahead and let him. Go ahead and answer, Blake.
People acquitted are guilty. I'm allowed to think that OJ was guilty. You're allowed to think that Daniel Penny was guilty,
TPUSA isn't just one person. TPUSA is an institution in this country with massive media pull, and the jury selection hasn't even occurred yet, right? So you realize every day when you're up there telling people that he's guilty and that he was easily identified and all of the talking points that you just said, you are just the same way. You're tampering. You are tainting the jury pool.
So if you've never said that, Blake, okay, we believe you. You never said Tyler Robinson is guilty. Then why do you have a problem with Candace Owens conducting an investigation? So you just said it. We are entitled to our opinions. It's our shows. We can do whatever we want as long as we don't cross the line where legal, legal aspect of things come in, right? So all Candace is doing is investigating the death of her friend. Okay. So here's the problem I have with this. Hold on. Let me finish. I'll let you finish.
That is a factually false statement.
Really? How is that factually false statement? You explain that to me.
Let's see, because Candace has also done things like she has done giant fishing expeditions against a ton of other people that Charlie Newer was.
Guess what, Blake? I have you ever worked with a detective? Yeah. I have a question. Have you ever worked with a detective? Because between me and you, I actually have documentedly.
I'm going to say I'm not going to get browbeaten by this person. Mute her.
It's okay. It's okay. It's okay, Blake. I get it. It's okay.
I am fed up with this person.
Oh, you're always fed up with the truth. You're always fed up with the truth. It's okay. You're always fed up with the truth.
Blake, are you okay with answering another question?
I'm going to answer another question, but I will not answer another question from her because I think she's acting in bad faith.
Oh, I'm acting in bad faith. Okay.
I asked the question earlier about you going to the hospital. Were you near Brian Harpool? That was my question.
I have no memory of where I was relative to Brian Harpool before the shooting, and afterwards, I probably saw him at the hospital. That's
what I just asked.
I truthfully don't remember who I saw at exactly what point.
Okay. Let's just ask some questions.
And I just jump in with one question. It's pretty simple. Blake, on the day, who are they live streaming to from the event? And do you know which cameras were live streaming, or were they all switching around live streaming?
I would say,
but where is it going to?
I don't even know if we were specifically live streaming. We were obviously recording it.
You were part of the setup there. They had Terrell said he had a live stream going.
I know the answer to this.
Terrell says we had a live stream going, then I presume
it was Tyler Boyer who said it.
Surely you'd know where the live stream was going to.
He said the live stream was being sent back to Arizona and recorded on the device.
In that case, that's probably that it was being recorded and sent to Arizona because.
No, he said it was being streamed. That was specifically the language.
He said it was being streamed back to ops. Like, what's ops? Is that head office?
I don't know.
I have a question about Erica.
Oh, I just wanted to hear the answer to that one. Like, he was there. Blake, you were there. Like, you were part of the setup. You set up the whole audio and helped them set up the cameras.
I'm not a team member. So you guys asked me questions about where it was streaming or what.
You don't do any. You don't help with any of the technical.
So,
I am not.
Would Andrew Cipher know that question? Would he?
Camera.
If he doesn't know, he doesn't know.
Yeah. Would Andrew Cipher know?
I don't know.
Someone's got to know where the live stream was going.
Can I ask my question about Erica?
No.
I was still asking the question. Just stop cutting me off.
Okay.
Relevant question.
Yeah. Oh, so Andrew Cipher, he's field op, didn't he?
I couldn't tell you his exact title, but Andrew Cipher has been involved in our campus events.
Hang on. How do you not know his title? You've worked with Andrew for years, haven't you?
I worked for Turning Point USA.
But yeah, you've done events and they've been live streamed before, and you're the producer of Charlie Kirk's show, aren't you?
I'm a producer on the Charlie Kirk show, so I work for a different company.
So, but you know where the live
Wait,
streaming
you
works,
don't work for
who's.
you don't work for the Charlie Kirk show?
I work for the Charlie Kirk show. The Charlie Kirk show is not produced by Turning Point USA.
Okay, here's my question about Erica. Are you in charge of giving Erica talking points the way you were in charge of working with Charlie Kirk? Because she's now the CEO. Are you the person that gives her talking points, helps her with her speeches? Yes or no?
I have said publicly that I helped Erica with some of her speeches, but I don't help her. I do not provide her a list of talking points. I do not tell her what to say about things. I have said I have assisted her on some of things that she has done, and if she asks me to do that in the future, I will do the same, and I will not speak.
Blake, jump in.
Wait. I'm still asking about Erica. Okay, so when she did that video where she had all black on, and she was a little upset about everybody talking about her, who was in charge of what she had on, and what was the purpose of that particular showing?
She's wearing.
No, not
what she's.
Okay. We all know everything has optics. So when a woman wears all white, that means something. When a woman wears all black, that means something. Do you at least understand? Do you agree with that? When a woman shows up, how she dresses means something.
I mean, I think you're probably going to read more meaning into it than any person would necessarily intend.
That's fine.
I will tell you,
so
I don't decide what anyone at our enterprise does. The only person I will say, I don't even fully decide what I wear, because
was it Andrew COVID that?
And I have bad taste in outfits. So I want.
That's fine. It wasn't just about what she wore. What was the purpose of her coming out and having that conversation with her audience like that? Not just about what she wore, what she said, and what was the purpose of it.
Referring to at this point, and I also don't see how it's relevant.
Yeah, I want to jump in here, Blake. I appreciate you being here. I think it, it takes a lot of guts to face, this crowd. I know, it can get volatile. I appreciate everybody staying calm the best you can. I have a couple questions, and they're more in a general sense, and probably three. I've always wanted to know, have you ever considered for a moment or thoroughly the possibility that someone has been deceiving you, that there are deceptions and misdirection and untruth? And do you think that our government or CIA, FBI, in the history, we know that they're capable of that? Have you considered that at all?
You're going to have to be more specific.
Have you considered that there are deceptions and you are being misled, and that something happened other than what the FBI and the bureaus are the narrative that they're putting out, what they're saying? Have you considered the possibility?
What I would say is I would be open to more people having foreknowledge of Tyler Robinson's plan to shoot Charlie than the. I mean, basically, we're acting under the. Currently, the charges seem to be that he acted alone with no one else knowing. I would be open to the possibility that he had talked about this with other people and they failed to find that, whether that was due to Tyler successfully deleting things, incompetence in their ability to find it, lack of hustle in finding it. Who knows? I've always been open to that possibility, and I would love it if I would hope that they've exhausted every investigative angle in that part. But on the specific fact of this shooting, I do not believe I am being misled. I believe the evidence is very strong that Tyler Robinson is the shooter, that he committed the shooting for the reasons stated, that he had a left-wing motivation and he regarded Charlie as some sort of figure of hate, that he was in a strange relationship with a kind of a semi-trans furry boyfriend, and that probably helped politically radicalize him. And so he committed this shooting. I believe the evidence for that is very strong. In fact, I feel the questions about SD cards and questions about how fast people are walking and questions about who's in an SUV at what time are really muddying the waters and getting away from what I think is, in fact, pretty clear, which let's see what we have. We have multiple camera angles of a specific person being at the scene of the shooting before, during, and after it. We have text messages sent by this person. We have this person being identified by family members when they had not been found otherwise as a suspect by the police themselves and being turned in for that reason. We have the police finding specific things like finding a machine that can be used to etch messages on rounds when we found etched messages on rounds that were in that rifle. We have DNA evidence. I think that the totality of this points overwhelmingly towards, if you want to call it the official story, we'll call it the official story. I think the evidence points to that. I am not a person who rejects all alternative theories for things, but what I told Charlie while he was alive and what I have told people since is you actually have to be willing to weigh evidence, and you cannot allow your brain to fill in details that do not exist. And a general trend I would say I see with people who are too enthusiastic for conspiracies is that their brains are overactive in filling in details where in fact nothing exists. So
Can you give me an example? I appreciate that answer.
To provide a specific example of this, when people are going after Mikey because he was holding his hand up to his ear, that's all you have. He held his hand up to his ear, which would make sense because a very loud crack had gone off, and a lot of people will reflexively do that, and then they might not pull it down once they're also realizing there's a shooting and things happen. And yet I feel that people have allowed their brain to fill in stuff that, if you think about it, doesn't make a lot of sense. Like the idea that he was on the phone with someone. Like, I guess the idea is he was right there, and then the shooting happens, and he's like, time to call it in to whoever, to Zog or something, and he's on the phone calling it in. And in fact, there's no evidence for that, and there's no reason to believe it, and yet people harassed him extensively because of that.
Sure. Thank you. And what other leads have you investigated or looked into aside from what you've just stated there? What alternate leads and information have you investigated? And until you do that, how can you, I mean, we can all get stuck in confirmation bias. I understand what you're saying, but what other information have you really thoroughly considered and looked into?
And hi, Blake, this is Brandy Siciliani. I'm here with Teresa. I have a question for you. So Charlie said that he has no choice but to leave the pro-Israel cause. Okay. Yeah. And then he texted people saying, I think they're going to kill me. And this was a couple days, if not the day before, that he got assassinated. Have you guys not considered that maybe there was foreign involvement?
Well, first of all, since you interjected over that other question, I would say that I am a producer for a radio show, and investigating crimes is the job of our police. And I believe the police in this case have done a thorough and, in my opinion, quite concrete job on this, which is a reason I am willing to believe that Tyler Robinson is guilty. It is, in fact, not my job to personally go and investigate every alternative theory that someone can come up with.
But why aren't you open to it?
Especially when the evidence, as far as I can tell, seems extremely strong. If the evidence were extremely weak, I would probably reconsider my position. But I don't think the evidence is weak. I think the evidence is strong.
I think we're all here because we don't think it's strong. And I mean, you can say it's strong, but I mean, it's actually really weak.
What I would say is, I think a lot of people are tethered to the idea that there is a conspiracy, that Tyler Robinson is innocent, that someone else is responsible, that there is a plot, And I think once they've tethered themselves to that position, I don't think anything will ever move them off of it. And so perhaps against my better judgment, I came here to talk to people, but I think most people who've decided down this course will literally never be convinced otherwise, no matter what it is.
Have you considered foreign involvement? And that's my last question.
I have not seen any reason to believe there would be foreign involvement. I don't think there's any evidence of it.
Okay, so when Charlie was saying, I think they're going to kill me, you really think he was referring to leftist transgender furries?
Well, yes, because I've spoken to Charlie, and Charlie expressly actually did say to me, I don't have a...
So you're going to go on the record right now and say that Charlie was referring to leftist transgenders, not Israel.
I'm not going on the record today because I have said this publicly before, that Charlie expressed worry that a pro-transgender person might do violence against him because he saw that happen.
So you are stating right now that Charlie was not referring to Israel.
Well, first of all, I actually haven't even seen this supposed text message that you're referring to and claiming that, like...
Really?
People are saying, like, Charlie was texting everybody the night before that he worried he was going to be assassinated. That's just not true.
But you've seen the screenshot of the group text, him saying he was leaving the pro-Israel cause, correct?
Yes, I have seen that.
Would you agree that...
We discussed that chat in detail all the way back in...
And so if we were looking at this in a purely objective, like if we didn't have... let's just say we didn't have Tyler Robinson, right? We got to look at motive. Would you agree that Charlie was the most influential voice amongst young conservatives and Gen Z as it pertains to Israel on the right?
I think he was a very influential voice. I don't know how you'd measure he was.
Okay, and so then if Charlie was receiving millions of dollars from pro-Israel donors who he was complaining about in that very same text that I am referring to, correct?
Okay, I mean Charlie had donors who got mad when he criticized MLK. So did like the pro-MLK.
But people. MLK didn't give him $2 million or $3 million or $5 million.
I didn't say MLK. Like Charlie had donors, and donors expressed their points of view on things.
Okay, but so can we agree that
I don't agree here. Like we are getting tethered on this point where people are just asserting like it makes sense.
I'm just asking you. I'm trying to see if you will be objective and admit that it's a possible motive.
Charlie had friction with donors over Israel. That somehow translates to that's who had him murdered.
That's not what I said. Possible motive.
I have a more simple and civilized question here.
You say, imagine if we didn't have Tyler. Well, the good news is we do have Tyler, and we have evidence against him.
But the story doesn't hold up under scrutiny. That's why we're looking at alternatives.
Absolutely under scrutiny. I believe we have camera footage of him on the campus from multiple angles. We have DNA evidence. We have a murder weapon.
I've seen the Bigfoot pictures are more clear than the ones we have of him on campus.
That is just factually not true.
Wait, are you saying that you can positively ID Tyler from any of the images that have been publicly released?
I think that the video they were showing today, where it shows the guy in when he first arrives on campus in a car that is confirmed to be one owned by Tyler Robinson. The person who gets out of it looks like Tyler Robinson.
Have you seen
a face that resembles Tyler Robinson's? I think it seems quite likely that person is
quite
Tyler
likely, but not a positive ID. And we're talking about someone's life here. Have you seen Lance Twiggs? You know what he looks like?
You would do you apply the standard to literally anything else in
a murder case? I apply extremely high standards.
I actually don't think you do. I don't think it's likely that in any other murder case, if we have a person who arrives in that person's car, gets out and has the same body shape and same face as that person, and you would need a powerful amount of evidence to indicate that it is not that person. And we have no indicating it is not that person.
Have you seen any?
I have a question for Blake.
I have one last.
Wait, hold on, Chris. Let me go first.
Have you seen photos of Lance Twiggs? Blake?
Yeah.
They are nearly identical in facial structure and in stature. I mean, nearly identical. The only difference is one has longer hair than the other. But if you're wearing a hat, you can't tell how long the hair is. So, and since Lance Twiggs' DNA is on both, we found out today, is on both the screwdriver and the towel that wrapped the gun, right? Then we might have the wrong person. This is what I'm saying. There's a lot of evidence to suggest Tyler Robinson may have not either acted alone, or it might not have been him at all. It might have been his roommate who was actually the furry, right? So it seems like, given that, since they look nearly identical, but you can't positively ID them, it has a facsimile, right? That it said yourself, you wouldn't say I positively ID him, but it looks like him, right? Well, it also looks like Lance Twiggs. Why are you not entertaining that line of inquiry, given all that we know?
Well, as far as the possibility that, well, if this is the case, if what you're asserting is true, it wouldn't even be that we have the wrong person. It would be that actually Tyler Robinson and Lance Twiggs are essentially colluding, and Tyler is colluding with Lance to take the fall for him.
Why does it have to be Tyler Robinson?
In that case, they are both the murderer. They both planned and took part in and helped cover up this murder. And then,
Blake, can I ask you a very important question involving this?
And I will say, I am open. I am actually, in fact, quite open to the possibility that Lance Twiggs had advanced knowledge of this murder, and I strongly suspect the police have investigated that, and it is possible that they may suspect it themselves, but they don't feel they have the evidence to prove that, which, if they were very diligent about covering that up, that would be possible. People have thrown out that, do the texts seem to be like designed to throw suspicion away from Lance?
I've never said that.
Open to that possibility. But even in that case, Tyler Robinson participated in the planning and execution of the murder of my friend.
So you're not open to Tyler Robinson being innocent of this crime? You're not open to that?
Blake, are you open to the fact that you may be tethered to your narrative just like we are tethered to our own narrative, and we both may be wrong?
Of course, but that's why you always have to step back and consider what is the actual evidence that we have. And in contrast,
so there's a possibility, just think about this.
Excuse me.
There's a possibility that something may have happened that you may not understand because it is over your pay grade, over my pay grade, over all of our pay grades, and it has nothing to do with some little boy, and it has something to do with something that is way above our pay grades. Do you at least accept that possibility?
I think that there is no evidence for that possibility.
Well, Blake, Charlie literally said, I have no choice but to leave the pro-Israel cause, yet Turning Point USA is so pro-Israel right now. That is not what Charlie said before he died. Why are you guys going against what Charlie wanted?
And that's evidence.
What have we said that is any different from what Charlie said?
Virtually
you guys are clearly very pro-Israel right now. Very, very pro-Israel. I don't think anyone can say that that's not true.
What have we done in the last 8 months that is, in your opinion, pro-Israel in a way that is not compatible with something Charlie himself said or did?
It seems like you guys are very pro the war in Iran, which Charlie was not.
Wait. Hold on. Can I cut in real quick?
Give me an example.
Hold on. Can I cut in real quick?
He just said it. The war with Iran. He was against the war in Iran. He just said it.
Okay. What does Turning Point say? Point cheerleaded the war with Iran like maximally?
Erica said herself.
Maximally.
She said herself she's okay with the war of Iran. What
did she say?
She was asked, what do you think about the war on Iran? She said, I'm all for it.
Who asked her that? Where was this?
There was a recording of her saying that at a school.
Let's not be dumb here. You guys are definitely very pro whatever Trump says, and Charlie would have been vocal against it.
What about Thomas Massey?
This is something I've said publicly, and so I'll say it again. Here's what we've said. When the war with Iran began, I said this is something that Charlie would have fiercely argued against before it happened. I believe that absolutely. Charlie would have been very opposed to launching the war. I said that Charlie also would almost certainly, he would oppose boots on the ground. He would oppose an aggressive pursuit of regime change. So we have said on the show, we have repeatedly said that we suspect the war is unpopular. We have young people on our show. Every time we have young people on our show, like chapter leaders and the like, we ask them, how do you guys feel about the war? How do other people on your campus feel about the war? And we do that because they tend to respond, it's not popular, and we feel obliged to help communicate that message that this is at a minimum, a very politically tough war for us to sell. Before the war began, we said if President Trump is going to launch an effort against Iran, he's going to need to make the case more strongly than he has so far. We said that. We have said we believe President Trump should seek an off-ramp from the war. We have cheerleaded every time that one of those off-ramps appears to be in the offing, like when they began negotiating this recent peace deal. Every time we have said we are in favor of finding a way to exit this war. And we have said we believe Charlie is not with us, so we do not know exactly what Charlie would do, but we believe that is what Charlie would do, that he would be urging the president to find an off-ramp for the war and to focus back on domestic issues. But what we've also said is that when Operation Midnight Hammer happened a year ago, that Charlie had been opposed to escalation with Iran at the time, but that once the president did it and signaled that it was a limited intervention, Charlie praised the president for it, and he said he supported the way he went about it. So what we have said is, Charlie would have argued against this war, but he also was a supporter of the president, and he would try to find ways to guide the president in a direction that he supports. He would not disavow the president. He would not, if pick your word, crash out over it. He would not turn permanently against the president because President Trump did something that he disagreed with. Maybe I am wrong. Maybe Charlie actually would have reacted a different way. I have said that. What I can only do, though, is I can say how Charlie behaved while he was alive and how I, as someone who knew him well, believe he might have handled this. I have always been very frank about that. And people have said that we cheerlead this war maximally. People have said we're massively pro-regime change. When people say that, they are lying. And when people lie about that sort of thing, it gives me the sense that they aren't really looking for the truth. They're just looking for ways to attack people.
Blake, I have a quick question, if you don't mind. I'll be very quick. It's just for you. My question is that is there a reason why TPUSA and yourself and maybe Erica aren't hounding the FBI to investigate this to make sure they have the right problem? I'm not saying not involved. I'm not saying that Lance Twiggs is not, but I've never heard anything from anyone involved with TPUSA urging the FBI or anyone, or even urging Trump or anyone to investigate and make sure that it's fully investigated.
Okay,
with no stone unturned.
How do you know?
That's what I want to know.
How do you know we haven't? All of us.
Well, you haven't publicly. I mean, I would expect that would be something you'd be publicly saying. And I think everyone in this space is thinking the same thing. And I think most of the questions in this space really come to the crux of it: is why aren't you making sure that it's investigated properly with no stone unturned, open book, open slather, open your phones, your devices.
I mean,
everything.
I will
let the FBI come in and explore everything. Look at all the look at everything. Listen to the mic that's attached to.
I've got the idea. What I will say is, just as an example, you guys have been asking me about this Charlie group chat he was in where he's talking about Israeli donors. Do you recall the reason that became public? That became public because Andrew sent it to someone in the government, and eventually from there, it made its way to
It's not the same as disclosing to the public.
Blake, why did Andrew Kolvitz send that to Joe Kent?
Can I ask a question, guys? I've been waiting
Why did he send that to Joe Kent? Why did Andrew Kolvitz send that to Joe Kent?
Andrew actually said this on his stream. He said no stone.
We can't hear everybody talking at the same time, bro.
Well, he's waiting.
Can I ask a question, guys?
No, I'm trying to answer this one. I said...
Yeah, let him answer it.
Apologies, Blake. Sorry.
Those messages were sent to a person in the government was, in fact, that Andrew wanted to make sure that every lead was followed up on. And I will say, Andrew, relative to me, was more open to, let's just say, different theories about the case than I would have been.
So nobody sent that screenshot to Candace before Joe Kent?
I don't want to say exactly who sent what to when where, but the reason that those messages were even available by anyone to be sent to Candace is that Andrew had sent them to someone in the government because he wanted it investigated.
that Candace Owens has been feeding you guys meds
So it must be upsetting then to know to hear Joe Kent say that they didn't actually investigate that and they told him to
That he
back
was shot
off. That
down.
has to be
Can we
frustrating.
bring up
Cash Patel literally shut that shit down really
Can we
quick.
bring up
Why?
Andrew Wilson because this scumbag's been getting paid from
No, I think it's
TPUSA
an
and
important point. He brought
Zionism.
up.
Wait,
Is
Chris
He
that
brought up.
had a
We need to
frustrating?
He
ask
brought
question.
up
Hang
him
on.
Joe
about why he was
Kent.
at
He brought up Joe
TPUSA.
Kent.
Wait.
Yeah, so I wanted to know then is that frustrating to you that Joe Kent was told to stand down?
I will say, in my opinion, it is not. I don't want to dive like deep all over this, but I'll be frank. Even though, as I said, those messages were sent in because he didn't want to leave any stone unturned, I've been frank about myself. I think it's ridiculous to believe that a foreign actor was involved in this, and I think there's no evidence for it. I think
You think that Joe Kent was lying about a foreign nexus then?
I believe he is very mistaken about that.
Okay, Blake, then why were Egyptian planes tracking Erica and Charlie for years?
That's a complete falsehood.
But what do you mean? The planes were literally at the same locations.
No, they were not. In fact,
Yes, they are. There's factual
That's an
evidence that they were. You
accusatory
could download
question.
Flight Radar 24. It's factual evidence.
That's accusatory.
So
Let's just ask
since
questions.
Blake will not answer any of my questions, just like want to put it out there. So you just on record called Joe Kent incompetent. That's what you did. You just called Joe Kent incompetent. You are an organization, part of an
No,
organization
he's
that is
not. He
not.
already clarified he works for Charlie Kirk's show, not
Exactly,
TPUSA.
that's what I'm talking about. Charlie
That's
Kirk Show
not
is
an
an organization, it's a
organization, it's
show.
a company.
So, okay, it's a show. You're a show host, Blake. You know what his position was? You're a show host. He was part of the government, head of counterintelligence, telling you, Blake, there's something here. And you, on the other side, Blake, a show host, but a nobody, show host, says, no, Joe, you're incompetent. You're wrong. I'm right. Does that sound right? See, that's where you lose me, Blake. I'm willing to listen to everything you say.
I'm getting a request.
Everybody has the right to their own opinion, though.
Blake, if you
So
don't,
let's not accuse the man of anything that he doesn't know anything
Blake,
about.
I'm getting requests to ask you questions from people that are very specific about details of the day of the event. They're very sparse, and I won't badger you about them at all. There's a lot of people who are listening right now that have questions, and they're sending me requests, and I don't know how long you're going to be here, but they're not a lot. The first question is did you have two phones at UVU that day of the assassination?
Did I have two phones?
Yeah.
No.
Okay. And then the other question is, why did Blake say he'd never forget how Mikey said he had to call Erica after Charlie was assassinated? But according to Erica, Mikey called Elizabeth McCoy first, then three-way conferenced Erica into that call. Does that make sense? Or no?
Why? I don't see how those are in conflict.
Okay, so let me reread it. Maybe I didn't say it right. Why did Blake say he'd never forget how Mikey said you had to call Erica, but he called Elizabeth McCoy first? So why would he call McCoy first and not Erica? That's the question.
I don't know.
Fair enough. And then one last.
I'm actually not going to give any details on that because I'm not going to disclose what happened on that phone call because I think it's deeply personal, and so I'm not going to say
that's fine.
what was said on that call.
That's fine. I'm not gonna badger you about it. I promise.
Conflict. What I will say is him calling his wife and then that call getting to Erica happened very quickly. It is not like he did a 3-minute phone call with his wife and then called Erica.
I have one last one. It's, will you release the audio from the Rode microphone Charlie was wearing after he was killed? And do you have any audio from the mic at all during that day from that microphone?
I mean, we have ample audio of Charlie at that
from
event.
that microphone source, the one that was recorded on the Rode microphone.
I have no idea if that even exists.
Well, you work for Turning Point. Can you have it released,
I do not
please?
work for Turning Point, but also I have no idea if that even exists, and I don't know why it would matter.
Because it obviously matters, because there's a conspiracy theory, in your opinion, that the microphone, I mean, that's the conspiracy theory, that it had something to do with his death.
Well, there's no
So if you guys could release the Rode microphone audio, that would maybe clear some things up, because that means that the microphone didn't explode then, right?
Why would that actually? How would that prove anything? Because if it was being recorded,
What do you mean? It would literally just prove the conspiracy theory to be inaccurate. If the microphone didn't explode, you would have the audio, correct?
why would we not have the audio even if it did explode?
What do you mean?
What do you mean? If it exploded, then you wouldn't have the audio. That's the whole point.
No, it transmits to the device. These are Bluetooth, and so it would have stayed. Yeah, it's a ridiculous line of questioning. How good faith of Blake, by the way. What a good answer.
Who even is speaking?
Sorry, I'm not sure what happened there. What I'm saying is first of all, I don't know if that exists. Second, there's absolutely no evidence whatsoever of an exploding microphone, and there's ample evidence. Trust me, I was there. That Charlie was killed by a gunshot, and I think it is frankly like.
Have you seen John Bray's video? No. Why does Charlie's shirt move before he's even struck in the neck by whatever hit him?
I have a request in all of this. Check out John Bray's videos. Just look at it. You don't have to believe it. I'm not asking you to buy into it.
Yeah, we're not trying to be rude. Have you seen John Bray's videos, Blake?
No, I don't know who that is.
Are you aware that there was a gentleman caught at the crime scene the following day in disguised as a doctor, and he was brought out with a rifle by the trooper who was arresting him? Are you aware of that?
I don't know the details of this.
You don't know who?
Okay, Blake, know
who Kennington Russell is?
Doesn't ring a bell.
So this is like the interest, right? So I just told you this is on video, right? This has been, now it's starting to get widely reported. Behind the crime scene tape, a man was disguised as a doctor with a rifle, and you're not interested in if he was involved at all?
I mean, you said it was the day after. Why would that matter?
Well, I mean, within 20, if he, let's just say that he was there and there was so many police everywhere, he stayed in hiding until the following day. He ran from cops when they saw him, right? So he was behind crime scene tape in an active crime scene, which means that he could plausibly, actually likely, already have been there. He posted on social media on the 10th that he was at UVU, right? And then he was caught there the next day behind crime scene tape, dressed as a doctor with a rifle, right? Not a small rifle, not a toy rifle, a rifle very similar to the one they found Tyler Robinson with, except for it had a wooden grain stock.
Is it the same model? Is it the same type of rifle?
I don't know exactly what kind of rifle it is. All I know is that the arresting officer was carrying it with the strap wrapped around his arm, and it had an evidence tag on it. No one from TPUSA has mentioned that once.
Why would we mention it?
Wow.
Okay, Blake, George Zinn literally had to go to the hospital for chest pain, I believe. And he said that he was paid to be a distraction, to be a decoy. Why are you guys not interested in figuring out who he was paid by to say, hey, I shot Charlie Kirk?
Well, so even that day, actually, I recall hearing that because we thought that we originally heard that they had a suspect in custody, like right away, and then we were told, even I believe by the end of that day, that in fact that was a dead end, and that this guy was he's a gadfly on campus, like he's a troublemaker, and I think they maybe even had I think he might have been banned on campus, and he was just there, because there was a big crowd, so they weren't focused on that.
But aren't you a little curious of what he meant by he was paid to do that?
I mean, not really. Not once you have the explanation of he is a known troublemaker and a guy who also lied that he did the shooting in order to help the person who did it get away, and he appears to have genuinely, spontaneously done that, and he seems like the kind of person who would do that. Personally.
But it was an immediate reaction. It had to have been planned. It was so instant.
I don't think it had to be planned if you're that type of person. Frankly, I will say, I do think he should be criminally charged, because I think if he's spontaneous...
He was criminally charged and convicted. He's in prison for it.
Oh, was he? Oh, that's great.
Well, no, he's in prison for child pornography
No, he was
on his
Yeah,
also
phone.
he's not
no.
even in
He
prison.
was
He's
also
actually
no.
in
He
a
was also
facility.
convicted. He was also convicted for obstructing justice, which is what they called what he did at Charlie Kirk's assassination by saying that he did it when he didn't.
Oh, that's
That
lovely.
was obstruction justice.
I would have
But it
gone
was
further.
also for pedophilia.
I probably would have charged him with like accessory to murder. But I don't know the laws of the state of Utah.
But if
You
somebody
know, this can
did,
be applied to Terrell too. Like this obstruction can be
if
also
somebody
applied to
did, if
Terrell.
somebody did pay
That is
him,
a ridiculous thing. I'm sorry.
if somebody did pay him, right?
I,
It's at least a lead worth following up on.
Anyway, I will say it's late. Thank you to Louisiana for hosting this. I'm
Sure.
going to migrate to another space because I think there's
Blake,
been
wait,
a
can I
lot
ask
of
you a question
interruptions on this one. So
before
I
you
want
go?
to have
Can I ask
I'll
you?
continue this for a bit longer, but I want it to be in one where I have a little more control over what's going on.
So I'm sorry that you didn't see my face for the remaining part of the recording. My camera was heating up and it was shutting off. So I decided to watch in the background, but I have some notes that I took and some questions. Said that 911 was not a concern. Who says that? A 911 call would not be of a concern when there is a shot person or a killed person on the scene, like, and it's your best friend, one of your best friends allegedly. And how did he know that Charlie was shot in the neck if he was behind the tent, right? And started running immediately after the shot rang out. How did he know that Charlie was shot in the neck? So, and also, if you have the footage, the 4K, the actual 4K footage of Terrell, because he was the one setting up the technical part of the event, why are we not seeing any of that footage? And nor in court, nor online, why haven't you released that so you could help us all out see that it was actually Tyler? Maybe I'm supposing that you could see who shot Charlie from that angle. I don't know, maybe you can't, but it would definitely show what happened to the back of his neck. And he, casually threw Erica under the bus, saying that she is the one who wanted to carry on the Charlie Kirk show and keep it going. And she's the one forcing them all to stay online. And yeah, and also about the hotels where they stayed, or a hotel. I believe it was one hotel where they stayed in Orem, Utah, the night of Charlie's assassination. So after he was assassinated, after they got back from the hospital, they went to a hotel. And I have a clue, I have an assumption which hotel it was. And I think I know why they don't want to say the name of the hotel, but I'm going to make a separate video on that. If you know what I'm talking about, drop a comment below. It has something to do with Candace and her revealing who stayed at a certain hotel before Charlie was killed. And it has something to do with the Egyptian planes. He was also asked why did Terrell stay behind and didn't go to the hospital, and why did he act the way he acted, and he said everyone reacts differently. Wow. Yeah. And he was like, he lost a good friend and he was probably in shock. No, he wasn't. He was so casual, finding a spot, an elevated spot where he can go online and tell us that Charlie is dead even before anyone knew he's dead. So, yeah, he wasn't hurt. Come on. Blake also said that he doesn't believe any foreign involvement in Charlie's assassination because all the evidence points to Tyler Robinson. And he was like, yeah, Charlie was always scared that a tranny would kill him or someone involved in the trans community. And lo and behold, that's exactly what happened, right? He was scared of being killed by transgenders, and he was killed by transgenders, according to them. Isn't it funny how that happened, allegedly? In my opinion, it didn't. I do believe that Tyler was somehow involved, but I don't believe that he was the main person responsible for Charlie's death. But I would like to hear your guys' opinions in the comments. If you have any questions of your own, if you caught something that I didn't, please drop a comment below. Thank you for watching. Like, share, and subscribe, and see you in my next one. Bye, guys.